Good morning, everyone. Success isn't something we chase. It's something we attract by becoming the kind of person success is drawn to. Today, I want to share 7 simple but profound changes you can make that will magnetize success to your life. And these aren't just ideas. These are real, lived experiences. Changes that turned struggling entrepreneurs into industry leaders, that transformed ordinary people into inspirations. Let's dive in. Every achievement, every breakthrough, every moment that alters the course of a life begins with one thing: a clear purpose. It's not about what you want. It's not even about how you plan to get it. The true catalyst for greatness lies in understanding why you want it in the first place, why you get out of bed each morning, why you push through the days when everything feels too heavy, why you dare to imagine a world better than the one you were handed. Purpose is not a luxury, it is oxygen. Without it, we are simply surviving, not living. Think about Sarah. She didn't wake up one day and think, I want to sell cupcakes and croissants. She wasn't driven by the thought of counting sales at the end of the day. Sarah started her bakery because she saw something deeper, something aching in the people around her. She saw families too busy, too disconnected, passing each other like ships in the night. She dreamed of a warm, inviting place where families could gather, laugh, reconnect, and savor, not just pastries but moments. Her purpose wasn't about the product. It was about the feeling she could create, the belonging, the home away from home that so many people needed, but didn't even realize they were missing. And today, Sarah's bakery has expanded to 3 cities, not because she had a flashy marketing strategy or a perfect 5-year plan. She succeeded because people didn't just buy her pastries, they bought into her why. They felt it. And feeling, my friends, is what moves mountains. When you lead with why, you tap into something primal inside all of us. We are emotional beings. Logic makes us think, but emotion makes us act. Too often we fall into the trap of explaining what we do, listing off features, showing the world our polished, perfect plans. But none of that matters if people don't feel connected to your purpose. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. It's not your resume, your skill set, or your LinkedIn profile that wins hearts and minds. It's the heartbeat behind it all. The reason you show up, the mission that pulses through your work like electricity. When you lead with why, you stop chasing customers and start building a community. You stop marketing and start inspiring. You stop selling and start serving. And that is where the magic happens. It's not just businesses that need a why, it's individuals. It's you. Every single morning, you are presented with a choice to move through life mechanically, checking off tasks, or to move through life intentionally, driven by a deeper sense of meaning. If you don't know your why, you are susceptible to distraction, to doubt, to discouragement. But when your why is clear, it becomes a lighthouse, guiding you through the stormiest seas. There will be days when the obstacles feel overwhelming, days when you wonder if the struggle is even worth it. If your foundation is built on what you want, a bigger house, a nicer car, more recognition, you will crumble under the weight of those doubts, because those things lose their shine. They are not enough to sustain you. But if your foundation is built on why you started, on the change you want to create, the lives you want to touch, you will find a strength inside you that you didn't even know existed. It is not easy. Living with purpose requires vulnerability. It means daring to hope. It means risking failure for something bigger than yourself. It means standing firm when others take shortcuts. It means continuing to believe in the power of connection, love, justice, beauty, even when the world seems indifferent. But make no mistake, living with purpose is the only way to truly live. Purpose makes you magnetic. It draws the right people to you, the customers, the partners, the team members who believe in the same vision you do. It gives your work a soul, a pulse, a story worth telling. And it gives your life the satisfaction that only comes from knowing that you left the world a little better than you found it. There is an energy that moves through people who know their why. You can feel it when they walk into a room. It's in their eyes, their voice, their presence. It's contagious. It ignites something in others, because when you see someone fully alive, fully committed to their purpose, it reminds you of your own potential. It calls something out in you. It says this is what you were made for. So ask yourself every morning, why am I doing this? Not what am I supposed to do today? Not how will I achieve more, but why? Why does this matter? Why does it deserve your energy, your heart, your life? And if your answer is clear, crystal clear, then no challenge can defeat you, no setback can define you, no failure can derail you, because you are not anchored to outcomes, you are anchored to meaning, and that makes you unstoppable. The world doesn't need more people who are busy, it needs more people who are awake. More people who are on fire with a mission so powerful that it ripples out and changes lives, even in ways they'll never fully see. That mission starts with you, with your why, with your decision to live not by default, but by design. Purpose is not a luxury reserved for the chosen few. It is available to all of us, but it demands that we listen closely to the dreams that tug at us, the injustices that break our hearts, the moments of joy that make us feel most alive. It demands that we trust that small voice inside that says this matters, and it demands that we act, even when the path is unclear, even when the odds are against us. Every great story, every movement that has ever changed the world, began with a person who dared to believe that their why mattered. And so I ask you, will you dare to believe in your? Will you choose to live with a purpose that lights you up from the inside out? Will you choose to be someone whose life is not just counted in years, but in impact? The choice is yours. It always has been. Every day we wake up with a choice to see the world through the lens of limitation or through the lens of possibility. It's easy to look at talent as something that is handed out at birth, like a gift we either received or missed out on. Some of us have been taught, sometimes subtly, sometimes explicitly, that ability is fixed, that we are who we are and no amount of effort will change. It's a belief that quietly roots itself deep inside us, dictating which risks we take, which dreams we chase, and which ones we silently bury. But what if that belief is wrong? What if talent isn't a lottery ticket but a must? What if every failure, every struggle, every misstep isn't a sign to stop but an invitation to grow? The truth is, the ones who soar are not always the ones who start with the most. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't resources, money or connections. It's resilience. It's the stubborn refusal to be defined by a moment of defeat. It's the unwavering belief that who you are today does not limit who you can become tomorrow. A remarkable study conducted by Stanford professor Carol Dweck shines a bright, undeniable light on this truth. She found that students who embraced a growth mindset, the belief that their abilities could be developed, consistently outperformed those who believed intelligence was static. Not because they were born with more, not because they had access to better teachers or texts, but because they were braver. They dared to take on challenges that others avoided. They were willing to look foolish in the short term to become extraordinary in the long term. Think about that for a moment. Bravery, not brilliance, was the difference maker. In a world obsessed with natural talent, with prodigies and geniuses, we overlook the simple courage it takes to be bad at something long enough to get good at it. We romanticize the idea of the overnight success, and conveniently ignore the years of grit and grind, hidden underneath the late nights, the public failures, the quiet moments of doubt when giving up would have been easier, cleaner, safer. But those who achieve greatness don't run from those moments, they run toward them. When you believe talents are fixed, you fear challenges, because challenges might reveal you're not as good as you want to appear. They threaten the fragile image you've built of yourself. But when you believe talents can be developed, challenges are no longer threats, they are opportunity. They are the training grounds where greatness is forged. They are the necessary fires that burn away fear and replace it with confidence. Mistakes, then, aren't failures. They are tuition fees for greatness. They are the price we pay to climb higher, to dream bigger, to live bolder lives. Every stumble, every miscalculation, every rejection letter isn't a reason to shrink back into safety. It's a lesson, a message, a moment that whispers, there's something here for you. If you're willing to stay, if you're willing to learn, you will come out the other side strong. We live in a culture obsessed with perfection. We're told to curate, polish and present ourselves as flawlessly as possible. But perfection is a lie. It's an illusion that keeps us stuck, keeps us small. The real magic, the real transformation, happens in the mess. In the moments when you're scared, when you're uncertain, when you're standing at the edge of your comfort zone, with shaking hands and a pounding heart, and you step forward anyway. Every one of us carries within us an incredible potential, but it remains dormant unless we believe in its ability to expand. And belief, real belief, is not a feeling, it's a decision to see every challenge not as a test of who you are, but as a chance to shape who you are becoming. A decision to stand up after every fall, to find wisdom in every mistake, and to trust that your journey, with all its detours and setbacks, is leading you exactly where you need to go. If you look at the most admired people in any field, you'll find a common thread. They are relentless learners. They are people who failed often and publicly, but kept moving forward. They didn't view mistakes as a reflection of their worth. They viewed them as a necessary part of their evolution. They embraced the discomfort of growth, because they understood that comfort zones might feel safe, but nothing extraordinary ever grows there. So the question is not whether you will encounter challenges, the question is whether you will allow those challenges to define you or refine you, whether you will use them as an excuse to stay small, or as fuel to become unstoppable. We must fall in love with the process, not just the prize. We must value progress over perfection, resilience over reputation. We must wake up every day and remind ourselves that greatness isn't reserved for the chosen few. It's available to all who are willing to work, to struggle, to fail and to rise again. When you embrace a growth mindset, you stop seeing setbacks as dead ends. You start seeing them as part of the path. You realize that success isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about mastering the art of recovery. It's about becoming so resilient that no failure, no criticism, no temporary defeat can stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. And the beautiful part is, it's never too late. You don't have to be born brilliant. You don't need the perfect background. You don't have to wait for permission. You can decide, today, right now, that you will view your abilities, not as a finished product but as a work in progress. You can choose to lean into the hard things, to chase the challenges, to welcome the struggle. Because greatness isn't about being perfect. Greatness is about being brave enough to show up, to stand tall after every fall, and to believe that the best version of you is still waiting to be discovered. And that belief, that unwavering, unbreakable belief, is the beginning of everything. Let me tell you about Mike. Michael is brilliant, sharp, thoughtful, deeply committed to his dreams. When he came up with the idea for his startup, it was electric. You could see it in his eyes, the passion, the fire, the undeniable belief that this idea could change everything. But there was a problem. Michael was obsessed with getting it perfect. Every time he inched closer to launching, he found something that wasn't quite right. A feature that needed tweaking, a design that could be cleaner, a marketing message that could be stronger. He would step back, rework it, delay it. Months turned into years. The world outside didn't wait. Competitors with rougher, less polished products hit the market. They weren't perfect, but they were good enough to start. They listened to customers, adapted, evolved. They learned in real time, and they succeeded while Michael waited. Done is better than perfect. Those 4 words carry a weight most people underestimate. Perfection is a mirage in the desert, a shimmering promise on the horizon that keeps pulling you forward but always stays just out of reach. You walk, you chase, you pour everything you have into reaching it, but you never quite arrive. Because no matter how perfect something seems today, tomorrow will offer a new standard, a new demand, a new reason why it still isn't enough. Progress though, progress is real. Progress is tangible. Progress you can touch, measure, celebrate. Progress is a product on the market, imperfect but alive, breathing in the real world, giving you the feedback and momentum you need to move forward. Perfection is an idea. Progress is action. Perfection keeps you in your head. Progress moves you through the world. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that perfection is what earns trust, that if you show people the flawless version of your work, they'll believe in you more. But the truth is, we trust those who move. We trust those who act. We trust those who show up again and again, willing to be seen even when they're not quite ready. Because that's courage. And courage is what inspires people, not polish. Think about the greatest stories you've ever heard. They're not about people who got it right the first time. They're about people who struggled, who tried, who failed, who stood back up again and again and again. Progress is the story of every hero who has ever lived. And it's the story you are writing right now, whether you realize it or not. There's a fundamental truth about success that too few people understand. Success rewards action, not hesitation. Success isn't waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to move. It's waiting for you to take that first awkward, imperfect step, and then another, and then another. Every action you take sends a ripple into the world. Every decision, every launch, every risk you dare to take builds momentum. And momentum, once it starts, has a power all its own. Hesitation, on the other hand, kills momentum before it ever has a chance to live. Hesitation tells the world, I'm not sure. Hesitation tells your dreams, maybe later. Hesitation tells your future, I'm not ready for you yet. But dreams don't wait forever. Opportunities don't wait forever. Life doesn't wait forever. If you spend all your time trying to craft the perfect first step, you'll miss the 1,000 imperfect but vital steps that could have carried you exactly where you wanted to go. Michael's story is painful because it's all too common. He's not alone. So many brilliant, passionate people end up stuck, watching from the sidelines while others play the game, not because they're not good enough, not because their ideas aren't extraordinary, but because they think their work must be extraordinary before the world ever sees. They're waiting to be ready, waiting for perfect, waiting, while life moves on without them. If there's one shift you can make today, let it be this. Prioritize progress over perfection. Choose to move, even when you feel uncertain. Choose to act, even when you're scared. Choose to launch, to speak, to create, to lead, even when you know it could be better. Especially when you know it could be better. Because it is in the doing that you will become better. It is in the moving that you will learn. It is in the action that you will find the growth you thought perfection would give you. We admire the polished end result, but we fall in love with the journey. We fall in love with the behind-the-scenes struggles, the imperfect beginnings, the messy middles. That's what makes success meaningful. Not that it was perfect, but that it was real. You are not here to be flawless. You are here to be courageous. You are here to be relentless. You are here to move the needle forward, even if it's just one small inch at a time. You are here to leave your fingerprints on this world, not to hide them away until they look exactly right. Progress will ask more of you than perfection ever will. Because progress demands vulnerability. It demands that you show up before you feel ready. It demands that you trust yourself enough to believe that you'll figure it out along the way. And you will, because you are capable of so much more than you think you are. The world needs what you have. It needs your ideas, your voice, your passion, your leadership. It doesn't need them wrapped up in a neat little bow, years down the line when everything's finally just right. It needs them now. It needs them raw, real, alive, breathing, evolving, growing. It needs them messy and brilliant all at once. Done is better than perfect. And progress is the path that will carry you to places you can't even imagine yet. You don't have to have all the answers today. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to start. You just have to choose movement over stillness, action over hesitation, courage over comfort. Because every dream worth chasing begins not with perfection, but with a first trembling, imperfect step forward. True leadership, true influence, isn't about speaking louder. It's not about commanding attention, or delivering the most polished presentation, or having the final word in the meeting. It's something far more profound. It's about listening deep. It's about stepping back from the temptation to always perform, and instead stepping forward into a space of genuine connection. Because real leadership isn't measured by the words we say. It's measured by the trust we build, the loyalty we earn, and the lives we touch. A survey conducted by Salesforce revealed that 86% of employees and customers said they would feel more loyal to a company that actively listened to them. Just sit with that for a moment. 86%. That's not a small number. That's nearly everyone raising their hand and saying, please, hear me. It's easy to get caught up in our own need to be heard, to be validated, to be seen as the one with all the answers. But in the pursuit of being seen, we often miss the golden opportunity to truly see others. And when people don't feel seen, they disengage. They turn away. They find someone or somewhere else that values their voice. Listening isn't passive. It's active. It's a full body commitment. It's making eye contact. It's nodding. It's asking clarifying questions. It's resisting the urge to mentally draft your reply while someone else is still talking. It's fighting the impulse to fix or to judge or to advise too soon. Listening is about honoring someone else's experience without making it about your own. It's about standing in the discomfort of not knowing and being okay with not having all the answers. Think about the leaders you've admired most in your life. Maybe it was a boss, a coach, a mentor, a parent. Were they the loudest voice in the room? Or were they the ones who made you feel heard, truly heard? The ones who, even when you stumbled through your words or struggled to find the right expression, stayed with you. They didn't interrupt. They didn't dismiss you. They stayed curious. They leaned in. And because of that, you grew, you trusted, you dared. Listening creates loyalty because listening signals respect. It says you matter. It says your ideas are worth considering. It says you belong here. And when people feel respected, they stay. They contribute more. They bring their best selves to the table, not because they have to, but because they want to. Trust isn't built by grand gestures. It's built in 1,000 quiet moments when someone feels heard, when someone feels known. Listening builds trust because it opens the door to understanding. So many of the problems we face in business, in teams, in relationships, don't arise from bad intentions. They arise from misunderstanding, from assuming instead of asking, from reacting instead of reflecting, from speaking over instead of listening through. When we listen deeply, we catch the nuance. We pick up on the fears unspoken, the hopes hidden between the lines. We stop treating people like obstacles to our own agenda, and we start treating them like partners in something greater than ourselves. Listening unlocks solutions you could never discover alone. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking leadership is about having all the answers. It's not. It's about having the humility to recognize that the best answers often live outside of us. Innovation doesn't come from a solitary genius locked away in an office. It comes from collaboration, from bouncing ideas off different perspectives, from truly hearing the experiences and insights of others. The world is too complex, too fast-moving, too interconnected for any one person to see it all. We need each other, and we only access that collective wisdom when we listen. The next time you walk into a conversation, resist the temptation to think, "What can I say?" Instead, anchor yourself in a different question. What can I learn? Imagine how different our meetings would feel, how different our relationships would become, if we walked in not eager to impress, but eager to understand. If we weren't preparing our counterpoints before the other person finished speaking. If we weren't looking for the first opportunity to redirect the conversation back to ourselves. If we truly approached each interaction as a chance to discover something new about the world, about the other person, maybe even about ourselves. Because here's the truth. People who listen better lead better, period. They lead teams that are more engaged. They cultivate cultures where creativity flourishes. They make decisions that are wiser because they are informed by a deeper understanding of the situation on the ground. They build bridges where others build walls. They create movements, not just man. Listening transforms leadership from a title you hold to a relationship you nurture. It's not easy. Listening deeply requires patience. It requires presence. It requires the courage to hear things you might not want to hear. It requires the discipline to slow down in a world that rewards speed and noise. But in that slowness, in that quiet, magic happens. People open up, trust grows roots, ideas take flight, possibilities you never could have imagined start to unfold. When we listen, really listen, we invite people into a conversation, not a contest. We create a space where they don't have to shout to be heard, where they don't have to armor up to be safe, where they can bring the full measure of their gifts and their humanity to the work at hand. And when people feel safe enough to bring all of themselves, they do extraordinary things. They dream bigger, work harder, reach higher. They lead themselves. They lead each other. They lead the future. True leadership isn't about the noise we make. It's about the connection we create. It's about tuning into the heartbeat of the people we serve and aligning our actions with their hopes and needs. It's about remembering always that influence isn't earned through volume. It's earned through validation, through the simple, radical act of listening, deeply, completely, unselfishly. Because when we listen, we don't just hear people, we heal them, we honor them. And in doing so, we build something that no amount of shouting could ever achieve. Real, lasting, human connection. Imagine, just for a moment, that your life, your dreams, your success, your happiness is quietly being shaped every single day by the people around you. Not by grand events, not by wild strokes of luck, but by the conversations you have over coffee, the advice you hear when you're doubting yourself, the energy you absorb simply by sitting next to someone. We like to believe we are independent, self-made, untouched by external force, but the truth is far more humbling. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Think about that for a second. Pause. Picture their faces. Hear their words echoing in your mind. Feel the way they make you feel after spending time together. Are you inspired? Are you drained? Are you pushed forward or pulled backward? This truth is so simple, yet so profound. It's one of those rare principles in life that doesn't just apply sometimes. It applies all the time. Every day you are becoming a little more like the people you choose to let into your orbit. Their beliefs start to shape your beliefs. Their habits creep into your routines. Their attitude toward life becomes the lens through which you see the world. Without even realizing it, you absorb their energy for better or for worse. If you surround yourself with dreamers, thinkers, and doers, you will rise. You can't help but rise. Dreamers will challenge your imagination. Thinkers will stretch your mind. Doers will push you into action. When you stand among people who see possibilities, you start to see possibilities too. When you're in the company of those who refuse to quit, you'll find that quitting becomes unthinkable. Their momentum becomes your momentum. Their light reflects onto you until you glow with a fire you forgot you had. But there's a dark side too. If you surround yourself with critics, cynics, and complainers, you will sink. Slowly, imperceptibly, but inevitably. Critics will chip away at your self-belief. Cynics will poison your dreams. Complainers will convince you that striving for more is foolish. They will weigh you down with doubt, with fear, with resentment. They will hand you 1,000 reasons why you can't. And before you know it, you'll believe them. Not because you made a conscious choice to give up, but because you let yourself be conditioned into thinking small. Tom was no different from any other young software engineer starting out. He had talent, he had ambition, but like so many, he felt stuck, trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. His friends meant well, but their conversations always circled the same topics. How bad the bosses were, how impossible promotions seemed, how lucky you had to be to really make it. Every lunch break, every after-work drink, every weekend hangout, the same draining narrative. Over time, Tom realized he wasn't just hearing negativity, he was becoming it. But Tom made a decision that changed his life. He sought out masterminds, rooms filled with people who wanted more, people who weren't just dreaming but doing. He joined communities that lifted each other up, that celebrated ambition instead of mocking it. He spent less time with those who only wanted to complain and more time with those who wanted to create. And in just 3 years, Tom doubled his income, not because he suddenly got smarter, not because he stumbled upon a secret shortcut, but because he changed his environment, and his environment changed him. Environment shapes outcome. Every time. Think of a plant. Even the strongest seed cannot thrive in barren soil. It needs rich, nourishing ground. It needs sunlight. It needs water. Human beings are no different. You might have the most brilliant ideas, the most powerful dreams, the fiercest determination, but if you're trying to grow surrounded by weeds, you'll get tangled, you'll wither. Growth needs the right conditions, and the right conditions start with the people you allow into your life. Choosing who you spend time with isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about protecting your potential. It's about being intentional with your energy. It's about honoring the dreams that whisper to you late at night, the ones that refuse to die even when life tries to silence them. It's about recognizing that you only get one shot at this life, and you owe it to yourself to stack the deck in your favor. This is not easy. Sometimes it means letting go of people you've known for years. Sometimes it means facing the discomfort of outgrowing a circle that once felt like home. But the cost of staying small is far greater than the pain of change. Because every day you spend swimming in negativity is a day you're not building the life you were meant to live. You don't need to cut everyone off. You don't need to isolate yourself in some lonely quest for greatness. But you do need to choose. Choose mentors who light a fire in you. Choose friends who believe in possibility. Choose partners who see the world not just as it is, but as it could be. And little by little you will rise. You will dream bigger. You will think sharper. You will do bold. At the end of the day, your life is a reflection of your standards, and your standards are a reflection of your surroundings. Raise your surroundings, and your life cannot help but rise with them. Your future is not just shaped by the actions you take, but by the people who inspire those actions. Surround yourself with growth-minded people, and you will build a life that not only fulfills you but inspires others as well. And when you look back years from now, standing atop the mountains you once thought were impossible to climb, you'll realize something beautiful. It wasn't just the work you did. It wasn't just the risks you took. It wasn't even just the luck you caught along the way. It was the people who walked beside you, lifting you when you stumbled, cheering you when you soared, believing in you when you forgot how to believe in yourself. Choose wisely. Your life depends on it. Imagine waking up every morning not with the thought of what you can gain, but with the burning question, how can I serve today? There's something profoundly different about a life built on service rather than self-interest. It taps into a deeper part of who we are, something that transcends transactions and business models and dive straight into the core of human connection. Success isn't measured by how much we accumulate. It's measured by how much we contribute. It's not about what we can sell, but about what we can give, freely, generously, without expecting anything in return. Look around at the companies, the leaders, the movements that have stood the test of time. They weren't the ones shouting the loudest about their product. They weren't the ones desperately chasing the next sale. They were the ones who asked, day in and day out, what do people need? How can we meet that need even better? Think about it. Amazon didn't grow into the giant it is today, simply because it sold a lot of stuff. It grew because it relentlessly, obsessively focused on serving its customers better, faster delivery, easier returns, a frictionless shopping experience. Every innovation was rooted not in how can we make more money, but in how can we make life easier for the people we serve. This is the heart of real success. It's built not on greed, but on generosity, on seeing others not as dollar signs, but as human beings with needs, hopes, frustrations, and dreams. If you put service first, everything else follows. Trust blooms, loyalty strengthens, communities form, and once you have trust, once people believe deep down that you have their best interests at heart, the doors of opportunity swing wide open. We often think success demands clever strategies, aggressive tactics, flawless execution. And yes, those things matter, but they're not the foundation. They're the walls and the roof. Maybe the foundation, the thing everything else rests on, is trust. And trust isn't built with grand gestures or clever slogans. It's built with consistent small acts of service, repeated over and over again, long after it stops being convenient, long after anyone else would have given up. When you serve first and sell second, you send a message to the world. I'm not here to take from you. I'm here to give to you. And in a world so saturated with noise, with people demanding attention, demanding money, demanding time, that message cuts through like a beacon. It draws people in because it feels different. It feels safe. It feels real. People crave authenticity. They crave relationships, built not on what they can do for you, but on how you can help them become better, stronger, happier versions of themselves. It's not about pretending to care. It's about actually caring, genuinely, deeply, authentic, caring enough to listen when it would be easier to talk, caring enough to fix a problem even when it costs you time or money, caring enough to put the long-term relationship ahead of the short-term sale. And when you do that, when you consistently serve first, something incredible happens. Success starts chasing you. The more you serve, the more success will serve you. It's almost like the universe conspires on your behalf. Opportunities appear where there were none. Partnerships form effortlessly. Doors that seemed forever closed suddenly swing wide open. Not because you forced them, not because you manipulated anyone, but because you earned it. Because you showed up day after day, serving without keeping score. And let's be clear, serving first doesn't mean being a doormat. It doesn't mean saying yes to everything, or letting people walk all over you. It means having the courage to lead with generosity, knowing full well that not every act of service will be reciprocated, and doing it anyway, because service isn't a tactic, it's a way of being, it's a philosophy, it's a decision you make every single day to show up with your heart open, your hands willing, and your ego in check. The greatest leaders, the greatest companies, the greatest movements, they all understood this. They didn't just offer a product, they offered themselves, their energy, their ideas, their heart, and because they gave freely, the world gave back tenfold. When you start with service, you create something that money can't buy and competition can't steal. Emotional connection. You create believers, not just buyers. You create loyalty, not just transaction. You build something that lasts, something that matters. And if you're wondering whether it's worth it, whether the extra effort, the extra heart, the extra patience pays off, remember this: legacies are not built by those who took the most. They're built by those who gave the most. True impact, the kind that echoes long after you're gone, comes not from what you amassed but from what you poured out into the world. So the question is simple. Every day, in every interaction, in every decision, will you serve? Will you lead with generosity, with empathy, with the unshakable belief that if you take care of people, success will take care of itself? Because it will. It always has. It always will. Most people believe excellence is a flash of brilliance, a lightning strike, an accident of genius. But that belief couldn't be further from the truth. Excellence is not born in grand moments. It's born in relentless consistency. It's not the product of sudden inspiration or rare motivation. It is the result of small, almost invisible choices made over and over and over again, long after the thrill of starting something new has disappeared. Think about the world-class violinist. What you see on stage, the dazzling performance, the thunderous applause, is just the tip of the iceberg. What you don't see is the endless hours spent alone, behind closed doors playing the same scales, again and again in a room so quiet, it almost hums. It's not glamorous. No one is filming. No one is clapping. No one is posting their practice videos to go viral. They show up day after day, committed not to applause but to mastery. Consistency isn't sexy. It doesn't trend. It doesn't get highlighted in your social media feed. It doesn't earn standing ovation. It's repetitive. It's boring. It's invisible. And it is the most powerful force you will ever encounter if you choose to harness it. We live in a world obsessed with moments of inspiration. We chase after hacks and we wait for motivation to strike like lightning, hoping it will push us into action. But the truth is, motivation is fleeting. It burns bright for a moment, and then disappears, leaving you cold and still. What matters isn't how inspired you feel. What matters is whether you can keep showing up even when you don't feel like it. Imagine standing at the foot of a massive mountain. You look up, and it seems almost insurmountable. The first few steps are easy, fueled by the energy of excitement. But the real test isn't at the beginning. It's halfway up when the air gets thinner, the trail gets steeper and your muscles start to scream. It's when every part of you wants to turn back. That is when the choice to be consistent matters most. Will you keep climbing when no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when no one even knows you're still trying? Ask yourself, am I willing to be consistent long after the excitement fades? That question, more than any other, will determine your success. It's easy to be committed when everything is new and exciting. It's easy to show up when you're winning, when people are celebrating you. But can you show up when you're invisible? Can you show up when it's just you and the work, with no recognition in sight? Success isn't found in one breakthrough moment. It isn't the result of one giant leap. It's found in the thousand small, often unnoticed choices you make every day. It's waking up early, when you'd rather sleep. It's making the call when you're afraid of rejection. It's practicing your craft, when you feel stuck and uninspired. It's writing one more page, running one more mile, making one more attempt. It's 1,000 quiet yeses to your purpose when it would be easier to walk away. We admire greatness, but we misunderstand where it comes from. We see the athlete with the medal and think, they must have been born for this. We watch the entrepreneur build a billion-dollar company and think, they must have had an amazing idea. But the real story is far less glamorous and far more human. It's hours spent perfecting a free throw alone in an empty gym. It's years of rejection and iteration before the first investor says yes. It's heartbreak. It's doubt. It's exhaustion. And it's the decision to show up anyway. There will be days when it feels pointless. When your progress is so slow it feels invisible. When you question why you started at all. That's not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you are in the middle of the fight where champions are made, not in front of the cameras but in the moments when no one knows your name. Those who succeed aren't necessarily more talented, more intelligent, or more lucky than others. They are simply the ones who decided that their dreams were worth the boredom, the repetition, the obscurity. They decided that what they are building is more important than how they feel in the moment. We often underestimate how much momentum we build when we are consistent. Imagine pushing a heavy flywheel. At first it barely moves. You push and push and push and push and it turns an inch, then another inch. It's easy to quit when the progress seems so small. But if you stay with it, if you keep applying pressure, one day the flywheel spins faster and faster, seemingly on its own. That's the power of relentless consistency. It compounds. It builds strength. It creates unstoppable momentum. You have a choice every single day. A choice to lean into the discomfort, the boredom, the monotony, or a choice to wait for inspiration, to hope that passion will find you. One path leads to a lifetime of waiting, and the other leads to mastery. The question isn't whether you have the talent, it's whether you have the stomach for consistency. It's whether you can find joy in the process, when the outcome still seems so far away. It's whether you can be faithful to the dream, even when the dream feels impossible. You are capable of greatness, not because of what you do when you're excited, but because of what you do when you're tired, discouraged, and invisible. The ones who make it are the ones who learn to love the process. They learn to fall in love with the work, not just the result.
So today and every day, you get to decide, will you be consistent not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard? Will you keep moving forward even when no one notices? Will you choose to honor the journey, not just the destination? Because that is where true excellence is born. In the daily unseen, unsexy work. In the commitment to show up again and again until the work becomes an extension of who you are. Until excellence is not something you chase. It's something you embody. Final word. If you want to attract success, don't chase it blindly. Instead, become the person success wants to find. Lead with your why. Believe in growth. Act with courage. Listen with humility. Build empowering circles. Serve relentlessly. Show up every day, especially when it's hard. Because the truth is, success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to who we become. Thank you.